Ever wondered if you can truly convert any passion into a fortune? Enibukun converted his love for ironing clothes into a laundry and dry cleaning business empire with multiple branches across Lagos, Nigeria. In this no-holds-barred episode of Seed Diaries, Enibukun shares with us the inside story of his entrepreneurial journey of impact with Clean Ace Dry Cleaning Solutions and his move to change the dry cleaning industry in Nigeria and also empower people living with disabilities.
You have to be passionate. You must be sure you really, you can die for this thing. And if nobody is going to pay you, you will still do it.
Hello everyone, my name is Wamaka Okoye and you're welcome to another episode of Seed Diaries. Before we continue, I would like to remind you to like, share and subscribe. Today we have a special guest, Ibukun Adebayo of Clean Ace Dry Cleaning Solutions. Ibukun, you're welcome to Seed Diaries.
Thank you very much, Wamaka. Great to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. So I have so much that I want to ask you. I'm very excited about what you're doing in the dry cleaning industry. I own many areas. But I want to start first with us talking about how did you start? So why dry cleaning?
Thank you, Wamaka. Well, some people are made for some things, and I really believe I was made for dry cleaning. As a young boy, I loved ironing, like my elder brothers, like taking care of their clothes. I didn't really like washing, but I could iron all weekend. I did that for my brothers, I did that for my father. I even did that for his friends that lived within the same estate as we lived. Growing up at about I left high school in 1988, and fortunately or unfortunately, I gained admission in 1994. So I did JAMB over 6 times. And in 1991, my father, though a chartered accountant, he remembered somehow. He was about to retire, and he wanted to keep his father's dream alive. So his father used to be a washerman, Alagbafo, back in the 60s. And at this time, he had traveled the world round, and he wanted to do a laundromat. First professional laundromat in Nigeria in 1991 was started by my father. So it were those days I was rewriting JAMB back and forth, and I saw him start the business, talking to all the artisans, the plumbers, the welders, clearing the equipment, installing the equipment, doing the wiring, doing everything, setting up the business, interviewing the staff, telling them what to do, training them on what to do, and seeing the business take off. In 1994, when I finally gained admission into the university then, my father was begging me not to go because I had been so involved with the business. I had really understood and I had given everything. I wasn't sure I was going to gain admission, but that passion of ironing, now I had seen better irons. The business then was not just a laundromat. It had evolved to a full-fledged dry cleaning company with big steam irons. Yes, really professional. So I just loved that. My ironing passion just kept back coming, and I just saw it growing day and night. And went to the university, and those were those years of long strikes. So I always come back home for like 7 months, got back into the business, tried new things, saw the business in new dimensions, opened new branches for my father, and the business kept growing and growing. Eventually, when I finished in 1999, and I was going to serve, at that time, I had become a Christian, and I had been taught, you pray and commit everything to God and let Him inspire you. What you like and what you can do is not the 100% go ahead, but get that inspiration also from God, because there will be tough times, there will be challenging times, and you can always fall back on that strength and that conviction. So I did that, and it was dry cleaning that I was still inspired to go through. When I told my father laughed. He said, "Your eye has not left, this is my business." And I told him, I was saying in my heart, I said, if only you knew what the inspirations God is giving me around dry cleaning in this space. Today, to the glory of God, Cleanace is, if I say it's 10 times bigger than what my father had then, it would be an understatement. But I'm really grateful that my father, I grew up with that passion, to later find out my grandfather was, so I'm like a third generation dry cleaner or washerman. And to have gotten the space and the platform to have worked with the best of dry cleaners in Nigeria, and now today, Cleanace, 18 years, it's been a whole lot of, a lot of times it says, you live life forward, you understand it backwards. I've seen the dimensions, many breakdowns, trying times, terrible times, but and with our Nigeria.
Here we are. Wow. I think it's really interesting, and you are unique, because I wish you were in my house. I would have, someone that loves ironing, I don't know.
It's not too late.
It's very unusual, and it's I guess puts a spin or a reality into turning your passion, into a business, which not everybody's fortunate to have that. One thing is ironing, you love the things concerning dry cleaning. And you started the business, or you went into the dry cleaning business. When you entered, what things surprised you? Maybe what 3 things surprised you? Was it the way you thought it would be, or were there things that you did not expect?
Thank you, Wamaka. Going back in memory lane, I had understood that industry well, the way you operated, the challenges. But when you have not started a business, you have not started a business. And like it says, the grass is always looking fresher, greener, nicer from the other side. I left my last job working for the biggest dry cleaners in Nigeria at the time, and I believed I had seen it all. But I had never started a business. I had never seen a business fail. So it's been a whole world of learning for me, because even if I was the most senior personnel in that business at the time, I still didn't understand how to raise capital. I did not still understand how to make all the decisions and how to carry, that burden of if you make it, good, and if it breaks, you break. That level of responsibility, a lot of staff don't get it, even except there's a way you are brought into maybe profit sharing, and if you don't sell, you are not paid. Okay, maybe at that time I didn't have that experience, I didn't have that exposure. So it was just a new learning completely. Starting a business, whoa. My father didn't give me that, and I didn't get that in the business school as well.
So what you're saying in essence is that there is the skill end, the passion end, the business end.
Yes.
Which you sort of need to be in the business to start to see it, the journey of the entrepreneur, how the business will run, how it will be funded, and those were things that you then learned as you got into it. There's something else, you catch it when you have skin in the game.
Yes.
Because even if you were very dedicated working with your uncle, there were things that you go home and you sleep, you've done your job and you've done the job to the best of your ability. Doesn't mean the business is going to work. And it's that sense of responsibility, because the outcome, it's tied to your personal outcome.
Absolutely.
It's something that you learned. Do you do profit sharing?
Today?
Yes.
Well, not yet, but I have some very senior people that their bonuses are tied to performance, kind of.
So you believe in that tying bonuses to performance, or reward to performance helps to
Oh,
get
yes.
better performance or greater
Correct.
commitment from
the
the
people
team.
who work with the US.
So the dry cleaning industry in Nigeria, I think it's come a long way, and then you've been there pretty early on. What challenges did you face going in? What are the top 3 challenges you would say that you faced going into this business?
Thank you very much, Wamaka. This is exactly about 32 years.
Wow, that's
that
a long
that
time.
I've been doing dry cleaning, and way back from the 1991, we're talking 2023, going to 24. And the first and biggest challenge, which when I was leaving my last job as well, was getting our inability of not having a structured association that can regulate, that can guide, that can, yes, that's just it, to regulate. So it's an all-comers affair. Anybody can do anything, anyhow. Anybody can call themselves a dry cleaner, even if you are using water to wash the suits. Everybody is a dry cleaner. That is major. So not having that platform of an association also does not help you to have like a platform where the owners can deliberate and even agree on some standards. So no standard, no association. The staff themselves jump from place to place. They do all sorts. The vendors, supply chain completely broken down. You do everything all by yourself. And so not having an association, number one, the people, number two, then the supply chain. And not having the associations would have helped in being able to get insurance, funding, government support here and there, but without a voice, you are just in a jungle, just doing it all by. And you know, the dry cleaning business is not also that cheap. A dry cleaning machine, the smallest professional dry cleaning machine, brand new, will be talking like $12,000, $13,000. And you need a generator at least like a 50, 60 kVA to power just that. By the time you want to put all the elements of the steam boilers and all that, it's not a cheap business to start professionally, you know. So not having an association that can regulate and create standards, it really messes it up. So some people have really, really invested, and some didn't invest much, and everybody calls themselves dry cleaners. So until they ruin somebody's garments, the customers can't really know what happened and who is a dry cleaner truly. You know, it takes, I mean, a lot of, so they see everybody and just do this and just do that, you know. So that's where we are today.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, when you talked about the need for, or lack of an association, or the industry being organized, being a challenge. Yes. And I wanted to know what the implications were, which you've sort of alluded to when you say that, you know, anybody can jump from place to place. But I'm saying for you, as an entrepreneur who is investing so much, and you're saying some other people are not investing as much, not offering the same quality of care for people's garments, and you're all under the same name, under the same umbrella, without much differentiation.
Yeah.
How, you know, I'm thinking that there were challenges created by this, because how do you then recoup your investments? But what I'm wondering is, for the staff too, I'm just thinking, I would be afraid to be a dry cleaner. Because
if you were staff, or to open a
because
business?
To open a dry cleaning business, I would be, because I'm collecting people's precious garments and I'm entrusting it to other people to clean, and I'm responsible for the outcome.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how are you able to find enough people, you know, that can do the work? I know you have the machines, but I'm just thinking, I feel like it's such a risk.
Okay, thank you. So training, and supervision very closely. And well, when we talk about the training part, if there's no association, really, the association would have been saddled with that responsibility of ensuring the players and all the stakeholders are properly informed on what to do, how to do it, and why you should do it that way. But in our case, especially with my pedigree, so it's just been picking it from place to place. And eventually I went to America. I went to the Dry Cleaning and Laundry Institute, spent some good time with them, learned the professional thing, and came back home and started training my boys one after the other. But unfortunately, even the people I sent to DLI in America, I mean, after maybe 6 months, 1 year, they jump out of the job, even without putting a resignation.
Can you send me there, please?
We sent our engineer to Italy, and he had to go twice. And what happened? The first time he went, he was complaining the place was too cold. Too cold. And the second thing, he couldn't hear their kind of English. I had to jump on the flight. He came back and we tried, okay, so how do you solve this? How do you solve that? And still when I called the guys, I said, sorry, so my engineer, he still can't solve some of my problems. And they said, your engineer sleeps from money. Every time he comes, he's just staying in one jacket and he's drinking coffee all day long. I had to jump on the flight. I took the guy to say, Baba, we get to go back to that place. And I had to be his interpreter. And so it's been a rigor, training people and getting them stable, and without an association where people could hold people responsible. I mean, when they come back, I mean, if they want to leave, they just start damaging things and just start creating chaos for you. And you will be the one to beg them, even with the contract of saying, we trained you, after 2 years or 3 years, you can leave. In 6 months, if they want to leave, if they are damaging everything, you will beg them to please take your. So it's, and a lot of dry cleaners don't see this. Everybody is looking at the cleanest brand everywhere, and everybody's, oh, wow. So I can take from this story. He started from nothing. He was going from house to house, collecting from, office to office. And today, see what has, but the fundamental issues, I am a technician, I'm an ironer, I know how to clean, I know how to operate the machines. You're only seeing the business, you're only seeing, these boys will come, they will rip you off, and it keeps happening every day, back to back. So the people side, the training of them and being able to pay them enough. Now,
to retain them.
But the person that is trying to poach them will pay a double of your salary. You've paid so much in training them, sending them abroad. You've invested in so much. Now somebody who just wants to click on that and is ready to pay them anything. And unfortunately, I mean, when you look at, they all need money, and the next thing is they're out of the job. So you just keep going back and back. Here we are.
So you talked about people saying how you started. Do you want to tell me a bit about that? Were you really going from house to house collecting clothes? How did you start? Because you're talking about $12,000, $13,000 machine. Where did you? I mean, did you just start? Tell us, give us the cocoa, the real deal. Yes, the 411.
Okay, so with the knowledge that I had, there were some things I could do. There were some things. My first machine, a friend of mine, Femi, bought that first ironing machine, steam boiler. Today the machine is about $400. And he bought that machine for me. I paid him over time. The laundry thing I could wash with my hands. I had a small washing machine. I could do that in my own apartment. Then the dry cleanables I would give to a dry cleaner. Just dry clean and I'll iron and package.
So you added some value to it.
Yes. So until we had enough, I mean, we had the turnover, we had a lot of business coming in. And it was now, so the more we got into the dry cleaners, the higher discounts we got. And our margins started coming in. And then we could show our bank statement to somebody and they said, oh, if you are doing so much of business, we can help you buy some of the machines. So we went to BOI, then it was NAFUND. National Economic Reconstruction Fund then. And we got a facility, and we were now able to equip ourselves gradually and until we are where we are today. So raising capital. So I was really going from house to house. I'll look at an environment, print flyers, and I'll go knocking, and it was a personalized selling.
The hustle.
Then for the big hustle. Then for the offices, I had my friends, and some were working in MTN, some were working in the big multinationals and in the banks. So I'll ask them to take their clothes to the office. So I'll come to the office. I mean, they play as though they don't know me. So they'll take their clothes to the office. So I'll enter into the offices, marketing. Now they'll give me clothes.
Then, and other people will see them.
Yes. So, but especially on the times, on the delivery part, when I'm bringing back the garments onto them. And the guy said, this guy there, on better pass the guy. Oh, guy, where your shop be?
Marketing.
And that's from there. So people now started referring me, my elder brother works in that bank. I think you should go and see him as well. And like that until we had the first shop, and the second and the third and the 10th and the...
How many do you have now?
Today we have 10 stores opened in Lagos, and we used to be in Abuja. We had to shut down Abuja because we didn't have a good manager.
Which is a lot, because I see cleaners popping up. Where did I go to? Do you have one in Amuwo?
Yes, we started in Festac.
Yes, because I was
that was the first store.
One in Amuwo.
That store is 18 and a half years
Yeah,
old.
so I just see cleaners popping up, in all kinds of places. You have one around Lekki, Axis, around
Ikota.
Even before
Ikota,
then, you have one.
Polystar, yes.
So it's
used to be in Circle Mall.
Yes. So you have a very interesting method. So I guess those are collection centers.
Yes.
Okay, you have like a node, the core, and then you have the nodes.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Like the hub and spoke.
Yes. So that's the method. Very good.
We used to have 2 hubs.
Yes.
But with the economy and diesel and all that, we had to just consolidate into one big hub, and that's the one we just launched.
Excellent.
Yes,
we're going to talk about. So basically, you have a place where the work is being done, and then it's distributed or delivered back. So they're collected from the centers, and then they all go back to the factory.
Yes.
And then when they're done, they go back
to the stores.
To the stores, and the people pick up. So you're closer without having to open a big dry cleaning facility everywhere. Well, that's really good.
Yes.
I think this is really important, because there's some things we've gotten into. We've gotten to the fact that you didn't have the funds initially when you started. And you wanted to provide dry cleaning services. So you became kind of like a middleman, but not just middleman, because you added value by ironing and doing something extra.
Yes.
It's very clear that marketing is definitely your forte. Because, the fact that you would iron, then repackage, and obviously they're paying you more than you're paying the dry cleaners, which means you're marketing. These this very interesting, setup you had with the people in your friends at their workspaces. These are ingenious methods of marketing to get people to know you. And
because you can't just get into any office and knock on anybody's door. But when it's your friend, oh yes, I'm expecting him. Yes, okay, yes, and it just drags out a bag. Yes, please. And sometimes he says, oh, okay, can I drop it in my car? But please let me see. And especially when they grew into the positions of managers, and everybody's, and I'm flaunting.
Clean, I know your brand is everywhere. Yes. So it becomes aspirational, because they're saying, oh, my manager is doing this. And your work is, the clothes, the laundry is very good work, I must say. So it makes people, if you have clothes that you've invested in, you want to make sure that
they're well kept.
They're well kept, exactly.
Especially when you are grown and your sizes are not. There are some things you buy that are collector's items, and there are many memories around these clothes. I used it on my wedding anniversary, on my child's dedication, when my mother, passed on. There are memories and some sentiments around garments, and you just want to keep them. When you look at those pictures, you see those garments, and they remind you, and sometimes you just say, oh, that's what I want to wear. You just want to, you want that flavor. You want to refresh that memory again. So it's really important that dry cleaners should understand, or must understand, that we're actually given the responsibility, the charge to keep memories, to keep memories.
Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Wow. Now, these challenges, what have you done? Like, what strategies have you taken to deal with them, or are they still ongoing? Is there an improvement? What have you done?
Okay, for a business to have lasted 18 years, it's a lot of going back. I mean, you must learn to
iterating.
Keep recreating and repositioning and restructuring. Every. So today, we had in May. I had to bring some dry cleaners together, and we decided to form a professional association. That's the first professional association in Nigeria. Even Africa, I mean, we look into many countries, and there is nobody to affiliate with, there's nobody to benchmark with. So we've been able to settle that, and today what we're talking about, we do background checks. Somebody's leaving one company and wants to join another. Okay, put it on the platform and let everybody tell you, has he worked with us before? Do we know him? Even when he has not declared it on his CV, because when they burn some companies, they never put it on their CVs, you know. So, but when you post it where we can all see, we can guide you and tell you, well, ask him about this, ask him about that. And so gradually, the staff jumping here and there, it's reducing through the association. Also, we had to create the Cleaners Academy, the Cleaners Foundation. Well, you know, over time, you get to understand God's direction better. The name Cleaners itself was not just Cleaners Dry Cleaners. It was registered as Cleaners Solutions Limited. So when I was leaving my last job, I wanted to be a consultant. But so I believe, because I saw all the challenges, that's 18 years ago, 19 precisely. I saw all those challenges and said, you know what, somebody needs to help these people think outside the box and bring them together, train the people, and those problems still exist. So we had to, the association settled, at least we have that bringing the entrepreneurs, owners together, and a few staff are also aligning to say, yes, we like what is happening there. Okay, now the academy, now, instead of just training people and people poaching them, okay, we are even opening our doors to say, come, we will train you, and we do the training even free. We have been training. Oh, yes. Because, I mean, if you ask them to pay, they will never come. They don't even have time to come because they're all struggling for money. But these are the same people that keep going round and round. So rather than when they, so we have opened ourselves really as trainers, as an academy. And we take that as one of the things we do for God and society. But today, the biggest catch for us are the people with disabilities, the people with hearing impaired. They see, they can observe, and they can be so diligent. There was actually a guy in my church, and he's deaf. And but he kept asking me, he wanted to walk. Over time, the guy wouldn't back off. I said, but how would you manage? I had to get somebody, a lady, sign language, sign interpreter, to be with him for 1 week. And I trained him. Today, he's one of the best pressers, ironers that we have. And he inspired me to get the next deaf guy and the next deaf guy. Today, in our system, we have about almost 20 deaf people within our 60 people working in our production plant, okay? And we now even designed a program, an apprenticeship program, focused on the deaf people. I've been looking, well, so we've been doing what we can. I've been looking for funding here and there to say, I can now do this to scale, even help the industry to get enough people. But many people want people to be trained in tech. I mean, but we are still looking for, I mean, if we could get 1 or 2 partners, you know, to fund, and we can train more people, and especially these people with disability, hearing disabilities, I mean, when people are making noise and they never hear, once they face what they are, focus on what they are doing, they get it done. They're smarter, faster, better. And because they are not also so attractive to many people, they tend to be very stable. You know, so today we have about two sign interpreters, one very knowledgeable, I mean, nationally and even international accreditation, and we're now affiliating with those organizations that helping people with disabilities. So this is where we are now. I mean, in trying to solve our own problem, we actually see that we can actually solve even bigger societal problems, you know, and
wow, this is really thinking outside the box. To people with disabilities, where, especially in our society, where they're almost written off.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and yes, you might not be able to do A, but you can do B. Well,
absolutely.
People just assume.
They just write them off.
Yeah, this is very, very inspiring. Wow, that's excellent, and I hope
Thank God.
you'll be able to find the partnership that you require to really scale this, because I think this could really. It's a lot. It's doing well and doing good. Yes. You know, or doing well by doing good. That's really excellent. I'm very inspired.
Thank you.
Very good. So now you've started the academy, and there's a question I want to ask you. So, Ibukun, the name of the business, the registered business, is Clean Ace Solutions Limited.
That's right.
What is Clean Ace Solutions Limited? What does it do, and who does it do it for?
Okay, thank you. Clean Ace Solutions Limited owns the Clean Ace Dry Cleaners brand. Okay, so you don't see the brand as Clean Ace Solutions in the market, so it's Clean Ace Dry Cleaners. What we do, dry cleaners, launderers, we do tailor repairs and alteration, we clean carpets, we clean toys, home things, curtains, furniture, we do upholstery cleaning, we do leather care, and we have added into our bouquet cobbling services. So we repair your shoes, your bags, yes, the leather things, you want to keep them, I mean, quite a number of designer items and collector's items. You really want to make sure you enjoy that investment over time. So we do all that. And who do we do it for? I wouldn't say we do it for luxury, no. But we rather will do it for those who appreciate their investments in their wardrobe. Yes.
That's a nice way
Oh
of putting
yeah,
it.
people really invest in the way they look,
Yes.
and they need somebody who can look after that investment. I mean, people are on TV, people are, I mean, and there are some that are very quiet, but they got style and they got class, and they want to look good. I mean, even in their short and linen shirts, it must be well looked after. I mean, some of these things don't come cheap. I mean, so that's the target. Those really who want you to, they want the best, they buy the best, and they want to enjoy it for some good time. Yeah. And we find them everywhere. You know, Lagos, you know, Nigeria is one kind of a market where, yes, you can say more rich people live here and live there, but there are rich people, and there are people with style and class everywhere. You know, so, and that's one of the things that has made us have opened so many branches. But today we find out that even with the pickup and delivery, I mean, it's getting to the customers.
Yes, I mean, I've been at your branches and I've seen they're busy. You see people come in, they go out, and they come themselves.
Especially on Saturdays.
I
get customers calling to say, how many people are here? I said, sometimes, I'm sorry, but it's just as if the customers just ring themselves to say it's time to go to Clean Ace, and boom, the whole place is just flooded. And of course, with many challenges of the staff as well. I'm sorry I can't get there today. Who's going to answer the customers? But we get by.
Well, how are you able to differentiate yourself from everybody else, where people are, you know, because you have loyal, from my observation, you know, you have people that...
Dry cleaning really is a loyalty, because your clothes are the next, after your food, is your clothes.
Okay.
They are the things your skin rubs on. And there are the ways people see you in those clothes, and like it's popularly said, you dress the way you want to be addressed. So a lot of consciousness around how you look. And if you get somebody who, and for me, we all agree in our production, in our business, that every garment, every item is like a patient. It might look alike another, but they are owned by different people. They have been worn in different circumstances. While somebody has powder on his, another one has lipstick on his, another one has even the same garment, another one has wine poured on it, another one has coffee, another one leaned on paint, you know, and all sorts of different things have happened to the same kind of garments coming from different customers. So we need to, it's an individual, specific, you know, attention given to each one. When you get a dry cleaner that can really work in the details, you want to stay there, you know.
Makes sense. So
Personalized services. I mean, it's always that attention to details.
Yeah, because people don't shop around for dry cleaners, actually. You're right. If you have somebody that you like and you're happy with...
You stay there. And you recommend, you easily recommend them. We've had some, in the past 1 year, we have had the biggest battles of our lives as a business. We had a fire incident. Of course, we never tell the customers all the trouble, or else they lose confidence completely. And we had to move from like our Lekki plant into the Maryland plant.
Wow.
And we were managing until the rains came and the whole place fell apart. You didn't have enough space because all the things you would have done in the compound or around the premises,
you couldn't
do all that outside. And that's where we had this new massive, we had to invest massively in a new plant, had to pull out the machine. So even in trying to, on installing the machines to install, it was something like going to be like a weekend thing. We couldn't get it done in 1 month because a lot of machines, while moving them, I mean, you couldn't just get them back to work.
Like Humpty Dumpty.
Yes, you couldn't get them back to work, and a lot of things falling here and there. We lost a lot of customers, but there were some that actually reached out to say, Ibukun, we know you, we know your passion, we know where you started from, and you can't let this go. Are you doing another business? I said, I've never done another business. In my 18, 19 years, this is what God has gifted me with, and this is where I stay. I've stayed. But there are many things happening that, I mean, like I have boys that they do like 100 shirts a day. And by the time somebody poaches them, that 100 shirts I can't do every day could belong to like 100 customers. So because of that stuff that's been poached, that is like minimum 50 people making noise every day because of one person absent from work on it. And we are a target for, you want the best people, that's backlash. And sometimes when the customers get to say, but why did they press you? You have always gotten it right. I told you the specifics and you have always done it. What happened? Did you change your people? I said, exactly, that's what happened. The guy just zapped off. I mean, and it's crazy. But here we are.
Another one opens up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of, it require a lot of resilience on your part. What keeps you going?
So, thank you. What keeps me going?
Yes.
God. I'm telling you, the greatest support I mean, is when I think back to, and I hear the voice again to say, that's your purpose. That's what you were built for. That's your life. Just hold it. God comes, I hear this question many times, you say, you are so passionate and just bragging about everywhere. Do you ever get to a point where maybe you want to turn back? Maybe you're tired of doing this? And I said, I look within and I say, yes, I've had those especially, I've not had it so intense as what Clearness has undergone in the past 12 months.
Wow.
It's been prayer. My prayer was, God, just shut it down and please just start it again. Because I know you have the power to resurrect anything that dies. And that was my consolation. And literally, I mean, what about talking about theft? So in all this chaos, some staff are just engaged in stealing. Now, these are the days when designer t-shirts are really the in thing. People are dressing down, but because they're dressing down does not mean they are wearing cheap.
Yes.
And you get a Louis Vuitton and all the brands, and you can't find them.
Wow.
Because there's so much chaos and,
Yes.
and you just, it's, what happened?
Wow.
What happened? Where is it? I mean, and you are paying almost $1 million every 2 days, 3 days to buy back a garment you can. I mean, for me, I mean, if you can't find it that day, I just declare it lost. Did you mistakenly give it to another customer? So what happened to the labels? Did it break off? Did it tag? What happened? Until I found out that some people were actually stealing. But
Oh my goodness.
so now investment now goes into cameras, security, making sure people, you don't bring your bags into the place. You must all wear uniform so that when you're coming out of the place, it is that uniform that you wore into the place. I mean, a white t-shirt, yes, cheap white t-shirt, and he's going to wear an Armani white t-shirt when he's leaving.
I thought he'll wear the dress, the thing out.
Yes. So I mean,
that's ingenious.
but so it's going from one level to another to scale, especially. It's big, but thank God.
You know, so these are the pains, the growing pains actually of scaling, because when you're smaller, you know everybody.
Stealing hangers, stealing spray starch, stealing people's garments. They even stealing garments to clean, you know, and they go find their customers.
In their hustle. Wow. I think the last 12 months have been grueling for almost every business. There's also the environmental aspect of the economy. Have you found that has played a part in the challenges, or is just yours were just growing pains?
What has been our challenges lately? The society or the environmental? Well, we had the pains of growth. Truly, the dry cleaning industry is a recession-proof industry, especially when your target market is the luxury end. They will always dress nice. They always have to be in the media. They always have to be in the news. There are people around town. There will always be big parties. Yes. So, but how the economic, people are hungry now and they will do anything. So people, if they steal those garments, they go to sell it cheaply.
So there's more desperation.
So there's more desperation. So that's how it has affected us. When we had the fire incident, when we had to move factories, or when the rains came, those are natural. I mean, but another thing is, with every challenge, there's an open door. So that has always happened. I mean, you pray, you wait on God, and connect with one or two people, and the next thing is it brings you to a better ground. You solve that problem, and you solve it big time. And it's like going around the clock. Yes, you've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're on the 12th. You know, so for us, with the association, it's helped. The foundation and academy has helped. Being able to focus on the people with disabilities, it's helped. And having a supply chain system, you can buy easily from America, from UK, from China, and from Italy. And buying equipment from specific manufacturers in Italy has really helped us. So we also send our engineers to those manufacturers. So it's not just learn general engineering, learn this particular series of machines that we have, you know, and that has also really helped. So growth pains basically is what is affecting us.
On your end, how did you handle it in terms of the communications? What did you do? And are there things you think you could have done differently?
Thank you, Mamaka. Yes, we always, I mean, we ideate, we recreate so smartly, very flexible. But and whatever we think will take maybe 1-2 days to resolve, might eventually now take 1 month to resolve. And that's where so if it's 1-2 days, yes, we might just move deliveries by, instead of our normal 24 hours or 48 hours delivery, we just move it to say 72 hours, or just give it like 3-4 days maximum. But we got into a situation where even in 15 days, even in 15 days, we couldn't make it happen. Wow. And so the scale, the magnitude of the challenges, they became so overwhelming that and when you don't have the proper engineering support so it is just what you guys, and you are relying on Italy, on Germany, okay, send that email, do a video call, try to troubleshoot this way, give them the feedback, back and forth. So that didn't help matters. And so it's also made us to get into more debt because you have to buy an extra machine. If anything happens to this, you have a backup. So now we have backups for everything.
Redundancies.
And that's a lot of redundancy, just to be able to keep the promise. And this for the staffing as well. There were some, and we connected power and a new 500 kV transformer, and to get it to work would take almost like 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, that was the official. It took us 2 months.
Wow.
To get to, and that's when diesel went into 1,000 naira a liter. So 3 hours, 4 hours, and now the generators worked until they broke down. 3 hours, my boys will be on the factory floor and they'll be crying and praying to say, God, give us light. God, do this generator for us. So it also helped the organization to grow stronger together, to know that, you know what, it's not just the boss now, it's everybody, because how can he pay? Look at the clothes. We can't do them. The customers are calling. Do this, do that. But we are thankful today.
These are the kind of issues that our people say, my village people.
Well, is that any village? Is there any village?
It's not.
No, there's no village person.
How did you handle client communications?
Yes, we didn't do that well because we were seeing short-term problems and it was taking us long-term to fix. When it came to 15 days, we couldn't even meet, and we were going up to 20 days, we had to put messages to say, you know what, we are actually upgrading our facility. We just had to come up. And some honestly said, but you should have told us.
So it took a while for you to realize that this is what...
We didn't know it was going to take that long. And some said, yes, because we know you. We appreciate. And that, but I felt really touched when some customers called and said, we heard you had a fire. We never knew. I said, well, in Nigeria, how many things really can you? And the trickiest thing about our business, which became more glaring to us, and especially to me now, is we are not just producing something to sell. Now, it is somebody's property that has been given to us to work on and return. And now customers are saying, even if you cannot
clean it, please
give it back to me. And now it was a new dimension of yes. And if something goes wrong with the garments, some will say, no, it's not just that you want to replace it. I don't want a new one. That particular one is special. Even if you find it in the market, if the designer still's got it, fine. But you know what? This one fits me.
Yes.
And this is not brand new anymore. It's like when you wear denims, it's when the denim starts fading out that the beauty is. So you want to give me a brand new denim? I don't need a brand new denim. I like that faded, that's old look, And so communication, we didn't handle that well because we never foresaw that our challenges were going to go escalate.
You are in this situation over again, going into an expansion. What things would you do differently?
Well, that communication, I would not, if in our whole plan it's looking like 1 week, I will add another 4 weeks.
So maybe the risk analysis.
Yes.
The things, because there's something out of your control.
Yes. What could go wrong? So if you take another 2 weeks to solve what went wrong, put another 3 weeks to cater for that.
Okay.
Looking at the problems with a small eye, there's that thing we say, anybody who sees a job small will put in a small effort and will get in a small result. So you want to see,
comprehensive.
You want to see it big time. anything could go haywire. Anything could really go out of proportion or scale that you ever envisage. So it's, but for Nigeria, we don't have that. I didn't know people really loved the brand to the point. I mean, CEOs, bank CEOs were calling to say, "Come on, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?"
Because we make their clothes good, and they know that, like, what's happening. So, they don't have to worry about that.
And every time I now say, Egbo, this is what I'm going through. This is what has happened. They say, "Oh, but it's so far. You should have told us." I said, "Well, but how will I tried."
You didn't want everybody.
To whine. No. I didn't want to just give excuses or until it just went out of proportion and. But I mean, it has also it made us buckle together to say, how do we really solve this problem? To say, if we can do 5,000 pieces daily, the next place we want to be able to do 25,000 pieces. So it's giving us excessive capacity now to say that. I mean, we're advertising money back guarantee. If your garments should have been ready today and we don't make it ready, we'll pay you for we'll pay you for the time. So because now, I mean, we've had to solve that problem at scale. I mean,
so these are some of it. So now, in terms of winning back in trust in those areas, you now have some
making promises with some confidence. Give the customer some confidence to say, no, you have always known us to be this good, and we are still that good. In fact, we're better now. I mean, we have a system that every time your garments are not ready, we send a text message.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And but the messages kept coming
every day,
and people say, "Sorry,
what's going on?
What's the meaning of this?"
Wow.
And it got to a point. I mean, before, because there were very few clothes that will never be ready, I mandated the factory manager must call the customer. Now you have 10 items, 9 are ready. There's a white shirt that needs to be recleaned. Would you want us to pass the 9 to the store for you to pick up, and while the 10th comes? But by the time it is 1,000 garments not ready, 1,200 garments not ready, that fallout is major. And we couldn't call. We were just sending messages, and I mean, some people just wrote off the brand to say, But we kept saying, don't worry, any dry cleaners that has come to our level, I mean, if you rush to them, they will soon break down.
You will come back.
And they're coming back, actually.
So that's very, I mean, thank you for sharing, these challenges and the difficulties, because that's why we have Seed Diaries. We're sharing the authentic stories, your journey, so that other people can learn and maybe avoid some mistakes, as well as get encouragement, because there might be someone going through a problem like this right now, or they're going into the problem and they haven't foreseen some of the things that you have seen now and you're describing in hindsight, so they would be able to prepare better. Or they're already in it and they can recover faster because you've shared your learning. So I really appreciate that vulnerability that you have shared. And now that you're providing the guarantees, like upping some of those, which is at a cost, but basically you were saying we're standing by our brand, and you're done with the expansion now. So things are flowing better, so people can bring their clothes back, knowing that.
The story is tomorrow's clothes today now.
Ooh, fantastic.
Tomorrow's clothes today.
Tomorrow's clothes today. Excellent.
I mean, we told you to be ready tomorrow, but it's actually ready today.
Ready today. Fantastic. So, Ibukun.
Thank you.
What would you say to 20-year-old Ibukun? 3 things. If you were to go back and advise 20-year-old Ibukun, what would you say?
20-year-old.
Yes.
Okay, actually, in 1991, I was 19. So what would I be telling? Well, that's 32 years ago now. So, but if I were, the circumstances have changed, and today, I would still say you got to be passionate.
So you go back and tell yourself, be passionate.
You have to be passionate. You must be sure you really, you can die for this thing. And if nobody is going to pay you, you will still do it. You enjoy it, you love it, and that is enough fulfillment for all the effort. That's one. Then 2, you need the godly backing, because the challenges, the rain will fall, the storms will come, the lightning will flash. You'll be scared at point. You need a shoulder to run, and there's no other shoulder that can be as secure and as God's. So you need godly backing, not parents, not any uncle promising. No, they are not. They can be here today. I mean, and they won't be there tomorrow. And they have their own situations. They have their circumstances. Everybody's got their issues. But you must have that support from God that He will never fail. That then, passion is not enough. You must get good knowledge. You must know. Train, benchmark with the best, get connected with the best, affiliate with best industry players, not just locally, but internationally. Learn, attend exhibitions. I've been representing Nigeria, even when Nigeria doesn't know. Everywhere they see me, oh, that's the ace man. Oh, I mean, I used to have a business card that was like the playing cards, the ace. So everyone, and some say, oh, you gave us that card. And they go back in their pictures. I remember that picture. And so you want to connect with big industry players all over the world. I mean, that helps. So that a lot of problems that they are, even in their own future, as with their skill and with their good environment, you also see they have some challenges, and you can learn from experts. And
that's good.
People make it happen.
People make it happen.
You need good people. And you need to retain your good people. You need to, they can get greedy. They want more and more. I mean, it's human nature, but you must try everything you can.
Find a way to work with
to keep them.
Okay.
Yes, to keep them.
Wow, that's great. What's in the future for you and for Cleanace?
Ooh. The #1 dry cleaner in Africa. So now, with many of this learning, and especially with the academy, we can train more people, and we are looking at scaling into other countries now. I mean, especially with the Stanford seed, with the support of, the seed, other seed graduates in many parts of Africa. We can also, so that's opening up for us to say, hey, what's your market like? And we can take all this learning. Nigeria is always #1 in the forefront, especially in Africa, and we want to take this learning and all these opportunities that we have learned to get new markets with the support of good funding partners and be able to employ more. For me, it's not the money. For me, I've come to a point where there's a limit to how much you can spend. There's absolutely a limit. But now it's how many lives are you impacting? How many people? So even if it's to train them for free, how many people are you training? So scale, you want to do more of that. Get into, help them structure, help them stabilize. Yes, even if we 10-20% of interest in that business, that's fine for me. You own the 80. I mean, just as I'm present here in Cleanace, Nigeria, you should just be present. I need that person present. We used to have, we had employed 3 Indians before, and we still found out that the best people to do that work are the locals there. I mean, it's pretty expensive to bring in expatriates, and especially for a business like cleaning, it's not really, I mean, why? But our people, we need prayerfully to get people that are genuinely interested in that industry and want to put in the best efforts so that we can now collaborate together. And then you don't want to be the only shareholder, and then you can do more all over Nigeria, all over Africa, and it's better for everybody in the long run. So that's what I'm looking at today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibukun. I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being authentic and transparent. You have a great brand and a great vision for the future. So we're looking to see what's going to happen, with Cleanace, and watch you go along on that ride with you. I want to thank you all for watching this episode of Seed Diaries. I'd like to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. We're here at Seed Diaries. We're telling authentic stories of entrepreneurs who have built strong brands in Africa, and we'd like you to be a part of this story. So like, subscribe, and share. God bless.